Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the witnesses as well and appreciate greatly your testimony. You've spoken of an offensive tactic or strategy, if you will, and what you seem to be saying is rather than have a firewall, create a backfire. Fire back. Be offensive. Let people know that there are penalties, that there is a price to pay for encroaching upon our technology and our systems, our software. Now, is the technology currently available such that we can, while without attribution, without the certainty of attribution, attack the source without having actual attribution?
Sir, the U.S. government has unique attribution capabilities to trace all the way back to the true source of an activity. This is probably one of the few areas I disagree with my co-panelists in that I don't feel that it's the role of the private sector to be doing hackback. We can enable attribution, we can help through our own forensic investigations figure out what's happening, but I'd much rather see the private sector engage in finding intruders and removing them quickly and leave the power of striking back at the adversary as part of the state's monopoly of force.
If we have this unique ability to strike back at the point of origin, what is it that causes us to hesitate, if indeed we are hesitating?
Congressman, I mean, firstly, for the record, I don't advocate hacking back. I think there's a lot that can be done in terms of proactive forensics collection. But one thing, and you used fire back, I look at it more as suppressive fire. So you're protecting your systems. The challenge with some of the technologies—
Well, excuse me if I may. I really am not talking about suppressive fire. I appreciate your point.
No, I was saying
I understand, but what I would like to know is what can we do to the hacker that is actually attacking our system? Why can we not, if we know that the point of origin is a certain place, why can't we go to that place and take offensive action as opposed to continuing to be on the defense?
Sir, at a minimum, we can remove them from the formal financial sector. We can—
No. I'm talking about attack that system. Why? What is it that prevents us, as a part of our countermeasures? Our defense becomes an offense of attacking that system that is attacking us.
Friendly fire, because there could be innocent along. In other words, they're exploiting other systems that you would be taking down, and God forbid one manages a hospital in Pyongyang or whatever it may be.
Well, I needed to hear that.
Sir, I think there's also a gain loss in the intel community that says they would much rather watch the fireworks than let the adversary know that they see the fireworks by interfering with their system. So that might be some resistance that has to be overcome.
All right, let's talk about credit cards for just a moment. It's my understanding that you can go online and buy credit card information. I'm interested in seeing this actually happen, see a demonstration of this kind of activity. I understand that if you're sophisticated enough, you're supposed to be able to do this, and people are actually buying credit card numbers and they're buying Social Security cards. Is there any place available to members, or more specifically to me, so that I can get a demonstration of how this actually works?
Sir, there are companies out there that investigate this sort of behavior. It's not something we do at FireEye. You may actually be able to find some banks who will show this, because one of the ways they validate that they've been hacked is to go out and buy a sample of these credit cards to determine if it came from their system, and by doing so, they initiate a response.
Well, are these available, the credit card information? Is this information available to just anybody? Can anybody go online and find this information and buy so that I can steal another person's identity, actually buy this information? Is it available?
It is available, but you tend to have to be a vetted person who is brought in by another criminal.
It's referred to as the dark web, so there is the cyber equivalent of black markets, and it's worth noting that credit card data is now going for cents on the dollar, whereas healthcare records are going for much more, because the potential to commit fraud and the likelihood of getting caught is less. And also worth noting in particular, they're going after children's health records because they're not checking their credit until they're 18, so you could have 10 years of fraud committed against you.
Are you of the opinion that the penalties for identity theft are sufficient? Do we have sufficient mandatory penalties? Do we need stiffer penalties for identity theft?
Sir, I think the penalties probably are harsh enough. We just had a prosecution of someone who ran something called the Silk Road, and he essentially got life in prison for running an underground site.